Hey, Joe, you want to lend me a hand?
Huh? Okay, hold on. Okay, here we are.
Oh, yeah.
You got
fixing stuff, right?
You guys should remember Log Hauler Jesse. It's been a while. Jesse, where have you been?
Everywhere.
You look like you've been working on this truck, is what it looks like.
Constantly.
Yeah, so today, guys, the weather outside is horrible. It is freezing. We got about 60-mile-an-hour gusts of wind. Jesse, when I got here, was dealing with a downed tree that was laying across his driveway.
Yeah, a pine tree fell down.
Yeah, so here we are. We're in the safe confines of his warm workshop, which
that's where you should be on a day like
that. Which allows his truck to get in. And you have a number of deferred repairs to your truck.
Yeah, constantly.
So Jesse said, "Hey, Joe, can you come over and help me? I need some help with all this." I was like, "Heck yeah, I'll come." So
that's what happened.
I have been hard at work, guys.
Yeah.
So Jesse, why don't you tell us what you got going on with your truck?
Okay. This plate that runs across from my suspension is cracked underneath here. Pull all the bolts off the Z-spring here, take this bag off, and then replace this plate.
All right. And that's a new part, or you're welding that?
No, I can't weld it. It's buckled. So
all right.
This is the replacement part. That's pretty much what it looks like.
Fortunately, truck parts are inexpensive.
Yeah.
And you being a log hauler, you just have big piles of cash around to put this truck back together, to keep it on the road, right?
I go out in the woods and dig it up.
Yeah. So you have been talking about your truck lately, and the discussions about your truck have not been good.
No.
You've been having a number of things going wrong: braking, engine, suspension, the crane.
Yeah, there's
your
just
bunks,
about everything.
Uh-huh.
So apparently these trucks are allergic to about 500,000 miles.
And that's where you're at right now.
Yeah. So pretty sure all the warranties that are going to go bad have gone bad all at once. So I had a lot of issues with the motor. Clutch fan went out. Then after the clutch fan, what was it? I don't know. There's a couple things. The radiator's leaking, so I got to probably repair it or replace it soon. List goes on.
Okay. And you have had trouble with the bunks. You call, are individuals bunks, or is the whole thing called the bunk?
What depends on who you talk to, I guess.
Yeah.
This is bunk number 1, bunk number 2, 3, and 4, I guess.
Okay. Well, you broke one. Is that right?
Yeah. This piece of tubing here at this end buckled and cracked underneath. So I had to straighten it. These bunks are probably over 10 years old. I bought them from a friend of mine and patched them up, and they've hauled a lot of logs. So unfortunately, it won't be long before I'll have to get new ones, because this has happened on each one of these. They tend to crack on the inside edge. I can show you the one back here that I did recently. I did this one a little different. I plated the bottom and then fed the weld in here, but the main problem is this buckles and cracks underneath. So it's not the prettiest thing. I got better as I've gone along. And but that's 5/8 steel that I plated so that it pushes down towards this plate, and then filled in the crack.
That's pretty heavy stuff.
Yes, and I'm hauling heavy stuff that breaks things that are heavy.
Yeah. And the weather has not been agreeing with the timber industry lately. We've had a pretty warm, wet winter.
Yes.
And that makes it difficult on the big machines to get into and out of the woods.
It's just wet. I mean, it's been back and forth. Usually by now it freezes, so it's supposed to here in a day or so, and then all the batteries will go bad on the machines. I'll get to the job and nothing will start. Things will be frozen solid. So.
Yeah, that has explains this big windstorm. This has been a 2.5-day event.
Yeah.
We went from 20 to 50, and now we're going into the single digits.
Yeah, then I think Monday it's supposed to be single digits, and then in the teens.
But still no snow, but it has brought in the big winds, and that certainly makes it dangerous out in the woods too.
Yeah, it's better this way. That way the ground freezes faster. If there's snow on top of it, it's like a blanket. It'll insulate it unless you scrape the snow off. It doesn't freeze as easily. So this should bring a real good freeze. real fast.
Okay. So Jesse, this was the passenger side. You're also working on the driver's side.
Yes.
What do you got going on over here?
Well, recently, this was a bracket that came down and the shock hooked here to here. And I was at a job and they had a cable for one of the mud mats and it caught that shock bracket, ripped it off.
And
Twisted this, which made this rub on here, so I had to get this filled, welded it, and then I got to grind it all down.
So the place that you were at will certainly pay for the damage done to your truck.
They mentioned they would. I was surprised.
Oh, really? I was joking about that.
No, I actually had mentioned it on the way in that those cables may hook onto something, and darned if I wasn't right.
Yeah.
And I didn't catch it, so. But yeah, they said they'd pay for the shock and the bracket, so that's good.
All right. So Jesse, I don't know what I'm looking at, and I know a lot of our subscribers. You have 7 axles on this truck. Some of them go up and down by controls.
These.
Those are called lift axles.
So from here forward, there's 3 lift axles.
All right.
And I have controls in the cab that control that.
And
this is my front drive.
Okay.
And these are full locking rear ends, so what that means is basically you can put it in 4-wheel drive where all 4 spin at the same time.
Mm-hmm. So these are driven by the drive shaft. You got a rear differential on both of this axle and that axle.
Yes. So this plate here I got to replace. The pedestal cracked probably when I tweaked this. That's the other thing I have to fix here.
When I look at your truck, I'm looking for the traditional leaf springs, and you don't have them. This truck is suspended by air, the airbags, right?
And confusion.
Yeah.
This suspension, I'm not real fond. It's called a Z-spring. So you have a Z-spring. This takes most of the weight for the load, and then you have an airbag. So it's a 2-part system.
All right.
But once you don't have everything right, it's hard to get it to ride properly where the spring stays straight, the drives run straight together. So it's a little bit different system. I usually ran a Chalmers suspension, which is a solid suspension with no airbags, because if you blow an airbag loaded, you're going to be the first person at the accident.
Well said. You are also dealing with some engine work.
Yes.
Why don't you take us on up to the front of the truck?
The motor part right now, I've just been checking things. I have to take it to a mechanic because I think my transfer pump, which is right in this area, that I'm pretty sure it may be going bad. I've been throwing some codes, and that's what I found with this motor. I always had cats, and having a Cummins is a completely different nightmare.
What is the engine in this, Jesse?
It's an ISX 15.
ISX 15.
Yeah. So with this motor, I call it a science experiment gone wrong if you have anything that isn't working properly. There's so many different pumps for the fuel, sensors. It's very difficult to try to figure it out without a computer or the program. So it's easier just to take it to somebody that can actually work on it. I do what I can, but it's best to not do things if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. And I know what you're talking about dealing with all this, because I had to put wiper blades on my truck. Have you ever tried doing that before? These wiper blades, geez. Yeah, I spent like half a day on YouTube looking to see the right way to get these put onto my truck.
You know they do that for you at the store.
All right, so Jesse, you are a independent log hauler here in the state of Ohio. You have I guess a DOT license, so you're allowed to go into other states.
I'm apportioned, yeah.
Apportioned is the right term.
Yeah.
Okay. And part of your life, though, is being inspected
Yes.
by the Ohio Department of Transportation, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is that like? Is that a constant worry for an independent trucker, or is that just part of the job?
It's just part of the job. I mean, they're doing their job, I'm doing mine. You know, I do a lot of my own repairs, so, you know, you're always worried you miss something, but it all depends on how hard they look. You know, they can find something wrong with a brand new truck, so it just depends on your rapport with the person. You know, if you're good to people, they're good to you, so it's usually not too horrible. But it does stink when you got something wrong and you're stuck on the side of the road, or you got to get it fixed, so that is part of the lifestyle.
So we are now in the beginnings of 2024. We're in January. We've had a weird, non-traditional winter. What's going on with the timber industry that you see? Are they rocking and rolling right now, or are things slowed down?
It's going all right. I mean, I'm in this area. It's a lot different than everywhere else. There's so many mills over in Middlefield. I think a lot of other places, you know, they'll drive an hour or so just to bring the stuff to this area. So I think I'm fortunate to be in this area. So the market, you know, it's flat. It hasn't really come back up, but I mean, the blocking's still running. All the mills are still taking timber.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, the prices, I don't think they've really come back from where it was a couple years ago.
All right. I have heard through the grapevine that there is a big pile of logs for Ohio wood burner sitting out in a field, but you can't get to them right now.
No, as soon as it freezes. Nathan Baird, he's right up the road. He's got
very big operation.
Yeah, I think he has about 30 loads of firewood there. It's pretty much everything. So there's smaller stuff, bigger stuff. So I'll be able to go through. But first I got to get this running, and then the ground has to freeze, and then I have to get time to get there.
And then Jupiter has to align with Venus.
Yeah.
And so Jesse, what's in store? When can you have all these repairs done on this truck? When are you going to be back on the road?
Well, I talked to the owner, and he said he needs it yesterday, so I better hurry up.
Yeah, I heard the owner of this truck is really hard to work for.
Yeah, it's a real stickler.
Yeah. So you think you can be back on the road tomorrow?
Well, yeah, it's a lot of hours from today to tomorrow, so I'm pretty sure I can handle it.
Yeah, okay.
No, I got tomorrow's Sunday, so I can work on it tomorrow too.
All right.
And there's all night and all night Sunday. So.
Yeah, and the cold's coming in without snow, so we should be in pretty good shape with that.
Yeah, as long as my motor agrees. That was the last time it got cold. I had issues with it running right, so you know, you never know. I might do all this stuff and just limp it to the mechanic.
Yeah. So Jesse's mechanic is over in Pennsylvania, about probably an hour drive in this truck.
Yeah.
When you think about working on your truck, I would imagine it probably takes Jesse probably $200 just in fuel to get it there and come back.
Well, I average, with loading the truck and unloading it, I'd average about 4.5 miles a gallon. So I know everybody would be like, well, that's not your hourly actual drive time, but that's what it costs me at my fuel pump over there. That's what it averages out. It's about 4.5 miles, if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Going downhill both ways.
So that is the very practical side of trucking, guys. When the money's coming out of your pocket as an independent trucker.
Blows out of that little chrome stack right there.
So here's a question, Jesse. Why don't you just sell this truck and then go work for a log hauling company and drive their trucks? And then you can just make all of this go away.
It doesn't go away.
It doesn't. Explain this.
So to know how to run one of these, you got to have enough common sense to know about hydraulics, brakes, tires, bearings, grease, you know, the whole, what makes the thing go. So if you know all that and something breaks, then you're going to have to fix it. Whether you're getting paid by the load. To get that load in, you got to do the work. So you're kind of always doing exactly what I do, and probably get paid less. So you got long hours, especially when it freezes. You know, they're going to want you to make as much money, because one of these trucks new now is probably getting close to $350 with the boom, the grapple, the axles. It might even be up to $4 now.
$400,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a commercial loan on one of these, you got to pay it off in about 7 years. So just do the math.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of payments. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of insurance. And then you got to run the wheels off of it to pay for it in 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
So to do that, you got to make sure you have somebody that's going to run the wheels off of it. And that's, you know, and not break it. That's kind of what I do anyways. So there's really, I would say it would be hard. At least it'd be hard for me to get one of these and be normal.
Yeah. And then you also got to add in that you got a boss, you got to report to someone else, you got to like do what you're told. And that's probably
there's a reason I've been self-employed for almost 25 years.
Yes, and I have been experiencing that for myself, you know, leaving that environment to become a sole proprietor.
It's harder to go back the other way.
I absolutely can see that. That should be a good topic for a video upcoming, guys.
Yeah, I never was good at having a boss.
No.
So I did it for a while when I was younger, but as soon as I could figure out a way, I did construction and all that stuff and contracting.
You know, that's interesting. I see Okay, your work ethic is impeccable. You are one of the hardest workers I know. You don't really need, because for instance, I would use me as an example. There are times where I should be on a team because I need to be accountable to others to motivate me. That's what has always motivated me. I was much better at baseball than I was at tennis, because if I had to do it myself, there's times where I'm just not going to do it.
It's called downstream living. You're going with the stream. Whatever you like to do is easier.
Yeah. So you, on the other hand, I can see where you would not conform to a cubicle with khaki pants and a button-down shirt. But I'm serious. The place where I was at before, the coffee was excellent. I asked you that question, about the business side of everything here, but obviously personal, that's not an option.
No, why would I? I mean, anybody I work for, I might actually know more than them, so that makes it even harder to work for somebody.
Right, yeah. So you would probably, if you did go work for trucking company X, you would be doing the exact same job.
Probably.
And making less money.
Because, I'm good at it. I'm good at loading and unloading. I can do it fast. So, I don't know. I've never worked for a lot of different companies, but in this area, I know there's a couple places that pay good. And but it comes with a boss and other people that probably don't work like I do and might drive me nuts all day long. So I could do that at home.
Jesse would have a path in the carpeting to the HR office.
Yeah,
Hey guys, so I just wanted to get you an update on Jesse. There's been people asking about you. They haven't seen you for a while. But it's not like I haven't seen you. We talk, but you haven't been bringing any logs over. But there's a reason behind that. And I hope you do get to come back, because I got some tools that I borrowed off of you that I still have to give back to you.
They're supposed to come back on their own. Yeah, when can I get that wheelbarrow back?
Okay, guys, if you got any questions for Jesse, leave them in the comments. He reads them and he responds to them too.
Yeah.
All right, so everyone, have a great day.